This video is brought to you by TS4U IT Engineering Bootcamp. Are you looking for an IT bootcamp? In your journey with TS4U, you will get workshops and tasks every week, hands-on practice, technical tests and tasks, show and tell, mock interview. And we get paid fully only when you get a job. You can get affordable student loan. Become eligible for free tuition. We offer industry-demanding IT boot camps. Join now and start your IT engineering journey today with TS4U.
How do you create a VPC in AWS, and what are the main components such as subnets, route tables, and security groups?
Yeah, so what we do in our case is we actually need a lot of VPCs. So our company actually depends so much on AWS cloud, and we have so many teams. So each of the teams actually has their own deployments and own applications and own like set of networking requirements. Okay, so for those reasons, we actually need a lot of VPCs. So some actually requires like in the North Virginia region, some requires the Ohio region, and some actually requires the Singapore region as well, because we have a like pretty much worldwide team and the worldwide applications. So we actually use VPCs with our like pretty much all of our deployments. So each of the team actually requires their own VPCs. So what we actually use to create our VPCs is we have the both infrastructure as code options with the CloudFormation, and some teams actually use Terraform. And sometimes we actually create VPCs with the VPC wizard that we have on the AWS as well. So typically what we do is we have all the rules and all the networking configurations set up with our infrastructure as code. So if we just run that code with our pipeline, the CI/CD pipeline that we have, so that actually creates the VPC for us. We just need to provide some basic informations like how many subnets you want, how many route tables you want, and how many like private subnets you want. So we get all those informations from the project manager, and then we put all those informations on the infrastructure as code, and that creates the VPC for us. And on the other hand, we have the VPC wizard. So if some team actually asks for a quick VPC deployment and they don't have a infrastructure as code created, so what we do, we just actually give them a VPC with the help of VPC wizard. And the VPC wizard has all the basic things like how many subnets you want, what will be the subnets, the name of those subnets, and what would be the CIDR ranges of those subnets. So we can pretty much specify all of them, and like you can choose how many subnets you want, right? So with that, we have the public subnets and private subnets and the intra subnets as well. So the private subnets actually requires the NAT gateway. So we have the options on like launching some NAT gateways on the VPC wizard as well. So based on our requirement, we actually sometimes launch multiple NAT gateways. So one NAT gateway for each of the private subnet, like we have the like redundancy setup with the NAT gateways, and sometimes we launch just one NAT gateway, so if it's staging or dev environments. So we actually set all of these requirements on the VPC wizard, and finally we can just hit create, and it creates all the necessary things like internet gateways, the subnets, the route tables, and the NAT gateways, and actually configures all the like routes on its own, and we get our nice little VPC, and they can actually start working on it. So One issue that we face with launching so many VPCs is the limits, like the service quota limit that we have. So as we know, AWS regions actually have 5 VPCs per region, right? So you can launch at most 5. And since we have so many teams and so many VPC requirements, we actually need to update the quota after, let's say, 2 or 3 months. We actually, let's say we had 5 and then we requested for 10 VPCs, and after 3 months it actually went up. So we actually couldn't launch more VPCs, and our pipeline CI/CD pipelines got stuck because it showed that, hey, you don't have like the necessary quota for creating this VPC. So we actually need to keep an eye on our quota usages all the time. Okay, so that our pipelines can create the VPCs without any interruptions. And if we need a VPC like quickly, we can create it on the go, because the AWS needs some time with like upgrading our service quotas. Since we have the business options, we can create a case, okay, in order to upgrade the quota for this specific region for a specific account, but still that takes like 1 or 2 hours. So we actually need to keep that in mind to like have additional VPC spaces so that we can actually run VPCs on the fly. So that's one thing we always keep in our minds, so that our VPCs, the quota for our VPCs doesn't run out.